So have you ever had a dream in your head that was so audacious and so big and so out there that you didn't even let yourself think it? The second it popped into your head, you're like, nope, not gonna do it, too hard, too different, I'll be judged. Have you ever had an idea on how to do something differently in your organization, or your team came up with something a little bit outside the norm or away from the status quo, and you're like, whoa, can't go there, can't be different? I have. I had a dream for a little while of trying to apply to be an Air Force Thunderbird pilot. Now, as you can imagine, it's a little bit competitive, and it's pretty elite, and it's hard to be selected as an Air Force Thunderbird pilot. And every year, this email comes out across the Air Force. It says, here are the qualifications if you want to be a Thunderbird pilot to apply. And every year, like most people, I just deleted it. I deleted it every year. Mostly at the beginning because I didn't have the qualifications. I needed to gain flight hours and experience. And then I deleted it because I knew it was too hard, and the chances are I had a 1% chance if I applied of getting picked. And they had never had a woman before. So I deleted it, 2005. And I remember laying in bed one night, it was about 2:30 in the morning, and I could not get this out of my head. Why did I delete this year? I met all the qualifications. I'd been in 3 F-15E fighter squadrons. I'd flown in combat. I was a flight commander. I was a flight lead. I was an instructor pilot. I was an evaluator. I was the person giving check rides now in the F-15E. Like, why not put my hat in the ring for this? So I woke my husband up. It was 2:30 in the morning, and I kid you not. And I was like, babe, I really think I need to put my name in the hat, but it's really hard, and they haven't had a woman before, and do you think I'd be a good Thunderbird pilot? And he looked at me, and he's like, go to bed. And he playfully put the pillow. And we got up the next day. He's like, babe, I think of course she'd make a wonderful Thunderbird pilot. So I finally committed. I said, all right, I'm going to apply to be a Thunderbird. And you have to go public, right, when you put your hat in the ring. It was like going public at pilot training when I said I wanted to fly the F-15E. Now I'm saying I want to fly as a Thunderbird. And the F-15E people were like, why would you do that? You have to go fly the F-16. I'm thinking to myself, I'm just a gal from Vegas. I get to fly 2 of the best fighters in the world. Sign me up, right? Then it came, Nicole, you really don't want to do that because you probably won't get picked. It'll be embarrassing, right? Not many people get picked, like 1%. And then it finally happened. You know what came. And it took a while for the guys to get there, but they said it. Nicole, they haven't had a woman pilot yet. Now's not the time. It's just not, the timing's not good. But I stayed committed to it with my husband's support and the support of my squadron commander, a guy by the name of Dan Debris, a fantastic mentor and leader, and he was very supportive of me. And I started putting my application together, and I needed to get letters of recommendation. So I wanted a letter of recommendation from a colonel, right? I was just a young captain. I needed a big letter from a colonel. I'm a retired colonel now, but at the time, this was a big deal. And I went over to the staff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm applying, and I need a letter of recommendation. And they're like, ooh, yeah, well, he only gets to give 1 letter of recommendation, and as you know, there's other people applying. Yeah, well, it's very competitive, and the chances of you getting picked are very low. Yeah, and then they said it. They haven't had a woman before. We're not sure we want to waste it on you. And hidden in that message was this, right? Which was, we finally let you into fighters. We finally let you fly in combat. We finally let you be an evaluator. Why can't you just be happy? Why do you have to rock the boat? It was clear as day, and it got into my head. And like a fighter pilot, I walked across on a Friday night over to the bar on base, because that's what we used to do back in the 90s. We'd go have a beer or 2 with each other at the bar. And there, that night, was General Mark Matthews, 6'3", strapping tall fighter pilot. I mean, this guy was exactly the poster child of what you would think, and he was a general. Well, I had done some little project as a captain, and he was trying to be polite and do that leadership thing, so he came over to thank me for it. I don't even remember what it was. We were having just a conversation, and my squadron commander walks over, and he goes, hey, General Matthews, did you know Nicole's thinking of applying to the Thunderbirds? I'm like, no, go away, sir. No, sir, not applying to the Thunderbirds, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, really? I think you'd be great at it. And we started talking back and forth, and he's like, hey, have you asked anybody for a letter of recommendation yet? And I'm like, and he's like, well, do you need somebody to write one for you? And I'm like, well, sir, I'm not sure I want to do this, but would you be willing to write one? We went back and forth, and he did say that he would write one, and I was like, I'm just not sure. It's too hard. I won't get picked. And I said, sir, they haven't had a woman yet. And he looked at me, he said, Fifi, my call sign's Fifi, Fifi, are you a fighter pilot or not? And I'm, 5'4", so I'm looking up at him. Well, yes, sir, I am. And I'm holding my beer, and he's holding his beer. And I'll never forget this moment. He puts his hand down on my shoulder, and we're this close, and he looks at me, and he says, Fifi, nobody wants to lead a scripted life. Nobody wants to lead a scripted life. And in that moment, General Mark Matthews freed me from all the comments of everybody else, freed me from the script, freed me from the paradigm of other people's expectations. And I think most importantly, Mark Matthews freed me and has allowed me to lead an unscripted life ever since. Whenever I get those little doubts, whenever I think what I'm about to do is different, it's audacious, it's going to rock the boat, it's going to be a challenge to the balance, I say to myself, nobody wants to lead a scripted life.